Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I am creating a watercolor look with Floral Phrases stamp set. There is a large rose image that contains a little bit of a mottled detail look, and we're going to use some markers and a water brush to be able to get a natural organic watercolor look. To create the color on the stamp, I'm using the brush tip of the marker and coloring directly onto the rubber stamp. I have found that if I use rubber stamps versus photopolymer stamps, I get much better results using this technique. I'm simply going to color all of the images that are leaves in a green color. Then I'll put that away and switch over to the colors of the petals. I created a couple other cards that were single colored roses. However, I wanted to be able to determine if it would look better having a multicolored rose. My favorite rose is the Peace Rose, and it has different colors of yellow, orange, and pink, all intermingled together. The pink is usually at the edges of the petals that are more exposed to the sunlight. In creating or trying to recreate a peace rose, I just mixed around the colors and tried to put more pink on the outside of the leaves and orange next to that, and more yellow down in between, filling in the gaps. I'm not going to be spritzing this stamp this time. Instead, I'll be using a water brush to just move the color around. I'm stamping onto a small panel of watercolor paper today, and I'm using the smooth side of the paper versus the rough side that has grooves and lines. The opposite side of the watercolor paper is perfectly great to use. However, when using rubber stamps, it doesn't get as good contact with the paper because the paper is not one solid level. That is one thing to keep in mind when you're choosing using a certain stamp with a certain type of paper. The colors I'm using for this stamp project today are Old Olive, Pumpkin Pie, Melon Mambo, and Daffodil Delight. As you can see, I'm not really doing anything special to this stamped image. I'm only moving the color around and activating the dye ink that's in my stamp pad or markers and making it move just a little bit to appear like a watercolor. This stamp is drawn with the petals being divided. And of course, you can color this in and keep it with that look, or as you can see here, after I've individually activated the color on all the leaves, I went over it and muddled up just a little bit to fill in the white space in between the flower petals. To get a little more interest on this project and bring out a little bit of sparkle to the rest of the card, I'm using a strip of Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper. Glitter paper works really nicely to bring a nice interest to card. And I want to give one piece of advice when using glimmer paper and attaching it to another panel, especially a piece of watercolor paper that is going to be more thick and resistant. My advice is to use the strongest adhesive at your command. I have some tear-in tape, which is an extremely sticky, really sticky adhesive, and that way I know I'm going to have success and won't lose my project. I'm coordinating the ink colors with a piece of cardstock in Old Olive. Please forgive my head going into the video, but I needed to be able to see exactly where the edge of this stamp meets the cardstock. I'm using Old Olive ink as well so that I can have a tone-on-tone look. I'm coordinating the Old Olive tones with Crumb Cake card base. Crumb Cake is an ink color that is brown, however, it is derived from green. So the green tones that are the base of Crumb Cake work really nicely with Old Olive, and Old Olive coordinates with the marker used on the leaves. So the design of this project is all tied together. The inside of the card is used to make one of the long vine stamps, and as you can see, I just tried to tie it together and make one continuous image. Here are the other examples I made, and the first card is going to be made with crushed curry, always artichoke, and Sahara sand, and the one on the right is Cajun craze, wild wasabi, and soft suede. Thank you for joining me for another card tutorial. I invite you to my blog at jennystampsup.com for more inspiration. Currently, Floral Phrases bundle is 10% off through May 31st. If you'd like to take advantage of this or any other shopping supplies, please go to my blog and click Shop Now. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.